Welcome to The Source with your host, Dr. C.T. Curry, and co-host Coby Owens. News all across the nation. The Source. Stay in the loop in the city of Wilmington, Delaware. Work together for change in the community. A call to action to find the resources. The Source, the latest in news.
Good evening and welcome to The Source. In celebration of our 250th episode, we want to share some highlights from some of our best moments. Check these out.
And we're back. Well, you were just getting ready to get started with the Christina School District, and let's just hear a little bit about what you were sharing.
Well, okay, let's go back to the beginning in 1978 when we initially desegregated. And Christina was whatever number area it was and became Christina School District in 1981. At the time, Christina was the best school district of the four districts. Okay. And it has fallen into disarray over an extended period of time. And in my opinion, it's gone from being the best to the absolute worst, especially as it relates to city children. And in December of 2012, OCR came in, did an investigation of discipline, and they found and determined that the district had discriminated in discipline district-wide at all levels. Yeah. Nobody was ever held accountable, nobody was ever held responsible. And that school board has just been a total mess. And, I think Donald Patton will be an asset to the school board, but the fact of the matter is, Wilmington, Delaware cannot continue to be the only city in the United States of America where it's divided up into four districts, number one, and where the city as a city has no authority and no control over the educational destiny of its own children. It's insane. And Christina being, in my opinion, the worst, and their proficiency scores prove that, their history of discriminatory practices and pattern prove that, and which is why I thought we should go back to one district, the super district, but there was basically a consensus with the neighbor school committee and then the city of Wilmington saying, well, okay, well, we don't want four, we'll reduce to two, and the General Assembly ran from that because the senators in Red Clay said, oh no, why do we gotta have all of them? Well, why do any of you have to exist?
Okay.
So, but the other is...
But even since then, there's new senators.
You did very well yesterday, and it's an amazing job on one hand. On the other hand, there's still an extremely low turnout in the city of Wilmington. And I worked in Christina, worked with a lot of people on Donald Patton's campaign. You worked in Red Clay, you worked in Brandywine. Wasn't a whole lot of work in Colonial. And we had, the candidates got 300 some votes apiece. So participation is not there. The other is, I think school boards are the most important elected officials, school board members, the most important elected officials we have. But they're the only ones that don't get paid. And if I was in the General Assembly, I'd put forward legislation to see to it those school board members got paid.
So how do we then turn it to say we got to hold people accountable for our children? Is it the General Assembly that we need to start putting the pressure on? Because I heard you say we should maybe go to one school district and then, they said, okay, we'll go with two. But who gets to make that final decision?
The General Assembly messed it all up. And now, you want to be controversial, here it is. Senator Tom Carper, on his watch, lifted the court order, took the Delaware Department of Education and took it from having power and authority and just eliminated its power and authority. And on his watch, the Neighborhood School Act, the Charter School Act, and the Choice School Act, all of which had an instant resegregation effect, and everything that's wrong, it got broke on his watch in the General Assembly, and they had a House desegregation committee, which was actually a House resegregation committee, and they weren't satisfied until we went from historically being among the most segregated school districts in the country to being among the most desegregated school districts in the country, right back to its beginning place of being once again among the most segregated in the country. So shame on them. And the General Assembly did all that.
Well, at some point, we're going to have to invite to the show someone to be able to respond to that, because even though, you know, Carper, he's serving down as a senator, and he can certainly act as if he can wash his hands of that. But some of the sins of the past, if we don't correct them, they will continue to perpetuate. And I think that is something we're probably going to look into this week. How do we get him to respond, as well as those who are down there now? We have some. You were say we have some new senators.
But here's the fact of the matter is, Tom Carper went to Washington, D.C. off the backs of black children, okay? And his whole thing was, I ended forced busing. Okay? And what have you done? What have you done on your record to help these children that you purposely and intentionally put in a resegregated situation? Then the answer is nothing. And if he was sitting right here, I'd tell him to his face, you've done nothing. All you did was destroy some of the good things that were going on.
Well, at some point, we are going to have to confront that, because in order for this show to be successful, we have to really deal with the issues and tell the community, you got to vote. We ended our last show when we were on the Coffee with Curry, and we talked about voting. We got to vote. And even though the school board may not be a big election about the mayor or about the governor or the president of the United States, it deals with the mindset of our children and being able to put them in an environment that is conducive. So when you hear this history, and this is why, Brother Street, I asked you to be a part of this show, is because you have the history. I'm the one with the energy as a Y generation, and you have the you're the baby boomer, but then we have the millennial who is truly out in the trenches of what's going on. People need to recognize, and I really need to say this to all of you who are watching us, that you got to get involved. You cannot continue to see all the deaths that we are experiencing, especially in the city of Wilmington, in Newcastle County at large. We cannot continue to see our community going down to the level that it's going down and do nothing. The only thing for evil to prevail, this is a Dr. King quote, is for good people to see and to do nothing. And we have to, at some point, begin to start doing. So when you hear that, you know, we have a systematic problem, it's time to make some moves. So we had an opportunity to get some good people into the school board.
Yeah, and just building off what you said, yeah, for the city, it has traditionally been extremely low. But just looking, and sorry, I was looking down at my phone, I was getting the numbers from yesterday, but just looking at the city numbers, at Warner last year, 161 people voted total for all three candidates, right? This year alone, Kesia got 284 votes herself. Lewis, only 71 people voted last time. Kesia got 122 herself. And at Highlands, she got 485 votes. Now, unfortunately, those are the only city in Cab.
Okay, but let's
256. Right.
No rule says we got to agree on everything. At Bard, you had 80-some votes.
Right.
At Quaker Hill, you had 50-some votes, less than 100 votes. That's just inexcusable and outrageous.
I agree with you. I agree with you on that. And I think, one, we look at this, right? This was a quick turnaround. We got involved with these campaigns back in February. But there's a school board election next year. We know this. It's on the schedule. There's one in 2023, 2024, 2025. Every single year. So why do we have to wait until a few months out to start organizing towards that? Getting people involved.
I agree with that 1,000%, because Mr. Patton got to run again next year, and you know,
why does he have to run again next year?
Because he was filling a vacancy.
Okay.
And that term expires at the end of June next year, so he has to run again next May. And I would be remiss if I didn't thank Representative Sherry Dorsey Walker for supporting Mr. Patton, and for former Councilman Kevin Kelly, who spent a lot of time on the campaign, spent all day yesterday at Bayard supporting Donald Patton because of Donald's personal involvement as a principal with his children. And the fact that Donald was the former principal of Bayard and he was a city councilman at the time, and they worked well together. So we've got work to do. By the same token, we've got to strengthen numbers and get our parents and community people active. And you don't even have to be registered to vote in the school board election.
Wow, I didn't know.
All you have to do is live there.
Okay.
18 and proof that you live in a district.
Oh, wow.
That's it.
Excellent.
It's the easiest election to vote in Delaware.
Yeah, you know what's funny, and I believe in transparency. One of the former council people called me yesterday to ask me a question, and in the midst of the conversation, they shared that they were getting ready to go vote, and I said, "Go vote for what?" I knew that there was a school board just to get a feel for what the person was going to say. They said it was great to go vote for the school board, and then he turned the question and said, "Did you vote?" And I said, "No, sir, I didn't vote." And the mentality and the problem that I experienced, which I'm wrong, is that my child is in a private school, and I'm just paying money for something that I'm not benefiting from. But I got to always say, even if I'm wrong, we have to make it right. This will be the last time I don't vote, whenever a vote is being taken on whatever issues it is, because I just think that people just, if it's not important, they don't care.
But let me make a prediction. I believe that the legislation sponsored by and being advocated for by Representative Sherry Dorsey Walker and Senator Tizzy Lockman, as it relates to putting Black history into the curriculum, is going to pass.
Yes.
I also believe that the governor is going to sign it. I believe that he will have a nice signing in ceremony, and I believe when that curriculum is implemented, you know what is going to break loose, because you're going to have parents from the majority community complaining that their children shouldn't have to take that history.
I hope that does not happen.
Well, I'm just making the prediction, and if you look at the candidates that were defeated yesterday, that was certainly their position, and they tried to run off of it and get momentum.
I can give you a quote from one of our opponents' page. Efforts by my opponent, Ms. Neesmith, and her supporters to indoctrinate our children, making them victims and oppressors of them, pitting one against another. This makes sure that we're left in the dark. Math, reading, and history appear to be of no consequence to them. That's what they were running on.
Oh, wow.
That Black history will change how we teach our students. No, we teach history every single day.
And America history is Black history.
Exactly.
We built this country. That's
We
interesting.
built this country.
That's
We
interesting.
are inventors, scientists, some of the best inventions, the stoplight.
Yeah.
Little things like that, all the way to the top.
They will be protesting.
Yes. Oh, yes.
I bet you.
Well, we will cover that.
I bet you it's going to be a very, very tense and difficult situation.
For each school board that has to navigate through that. Because they're going to do it in their own special way, because they have the power to do that. That's why it was so important for us to get involved with school board. But we, on our end, have to build that across the state.
Okay, but I'm a graduate of Wilmington Public Schools. And I'm a graduate of the University of Delaware.
Okay.
And Delaware history is a required course, University of Delaware. I'm a grown man running a community center. I take the summer camp kids to Dover to visit the museums. You know, you take the kids to the museums and read the little things. And so I read this one in the museum, I read this one, and the little boy says, "Mr. Street, does that mean that Delaware had people fighting for the Union and fighting for the Confederates?" And I'm like, "Yeah, it appears that way." I didn't know that until I read those things, and the little boy figured it out. How do you justify that? There's just no excuse for it, but it's going to be a problem. Because when we fought for and obtained a Black History Department at the University of Delaware, never required by anybody, it was an elective, and that's what they're going to start to fight for you. Watch.
But we're going to cover it, and we're going to make sure we're covering it, and those who are responsible for initiating and irritating it, we're going to, well, should I say initiating it, we're going to make sure that we are covering that, because I think in order for us to be valuable, we have to make sure that we are covering every aspect. And those who want to oppose and say that my child should have to learn a black history or whatever else, you're going to have to be able to defend that. Right. Because at the end of the day,
do like you do and spend your money and send them somewhere where they don't have to take it.
Yeah, well, I just think that in order for us to be a strong community, we need to be able to be diverse in all aspects.
After this commercial break, we'll be right back.
Hi, I'm Delaware Governor Matt Meyer.
Hi, I'm U.S. Senator Chris Coons.
I'm Senator Lisa Blunt Rochester.
Hi, I'm Representative Sarah McBride.
I'm Lieutenant Governor Kyle Evans-Gay.
Hi, I'm Delaware Attorney General Kathy Jennings.
Hi, I'm Jose Ortega.
Hi, I'm Senator Kara Hoffner.
Hi, I'm Wilmington Mayor John Carney.
Hi, I'm the town of Middletown Mayor Ken Branner.
Across the United States, families are living in fear as ICE sweeps through our communities, detaining and harassing our families, friends, and neighbors.
As Delaware leaders, we stand together to say this clearly.
No life is expendable.
And we reject the cruelty shown by ICE in all of its forms.
We keep one another safe.
That's why it's critical that you know your rights.
If you have contact with an immigration officer, you have the right to remain silent.
And the right to have an attorney present.
ICE agents cannot enter or search your home or private areas of your business unless they have either 1, a warrant signed by a judge, or 2, your consent to the search.
Remember, you don't have to consent to a search of your home or business.
You can say no.
You have the right to ask for an interpreter.
You do not have to sign any documents that you do not understand.
And if you see ICE agents in your community,
remember that you have the right under the First Amendment of the Constitution
to record or take photos in public view of law enforcement and ICE from a safe distance.
Do not interfere with or resist an arrest.
Your safety, everyone's safety, is important.
Visit de.gov/KYR for Know Your Rights for more critical information on knowing your civil rights in English, Spanish, and Haitian Creole.
And we will keep working relentlessly to protect the safety of every Delawarean,
including protecting you from ICE and federal overreach in any way we can.
We are fighting across Delaware.
In the Senate.
In the courts.
We are fighting in the General Assembly.
In Wilmington.
We are fighting in the town of Middletown.
And we need you with us.
Share this video online and with your community, and look out for one another. We will not be divided by fear.
We will not let hate define who we are and what we stand for as a community.
Times like these remind us of what it means to be a state of neighbors.
In Delaware, we cherish our immigrant communities, and our state would not be the same without them.
A state where diversity, equity, and inclusion are celebrated.
A state that will always stand up for what's right.
A state that looks to be a beacon of hope for so many.
And we are a place of refuge
where individuals and families who want to build a better life themselves can do so free from fear and harassment.
Because we are Delaware.
And will always protect our neighbors.
I heard a still small voice that said, who can we send? Who will go for us to these clubs? And I said, God, send me. I'll go.
Our Spring Fling Week was one for the books. All the food, events, comedy, and fellowship blended in a way that brought us all great joy and memories to last. It was an open invitation for all of us to come together, do away with our concerns, and enjoy each other's company, aided by entertainment, celebration, a litany of good meals, friendly competition, commencement, and of course, the worship experience.
My
my joy is not circumstantial. It is eternal and deeply rooted. So even if I'm in hard times, I can still sing. I can still dance. I can still wave my hand. I can still show up when I don't feel like it. I can still pray when I don't have the words to say.
All of our comedians were phenomenal and had us falling out of our seats, each in their own right giving us a healthy dose of laughter for the soul.
Nobody has ever seen anything like this before. They've never seen it.
I did some stuff I wasn't supposed to do, but let's say the last couple months of my life, I got myself together, and the world come to an end, and I'm up in heaven. I know there's gonna be some up there talking about, mad, cause talking about, well, why he here,
Pastor got a cup? I'm trying. One more time, Pastor got a cup? I'm trying. Now let's take it over. Oh, I want juice. I want juice. I want juice. I want juice.
Even Pastor Curry, inspired by it all, hopped in on the fun.
Pastor got a cup. You trying to see what's up? You ain't getting nothing.
But beyond the jokes and beyond the shows, between the cookout on Monday, the brunch and community basketball game on Saturday, and the services and luncheon on Sunday, what shined the brightest wasn't any one person. It was the entire community. And I think it's safe to say that we're all better for it. On behalf of Pastor Curry and the E. Zion Fair Baptist Church family, to all who came and participated, thank you, thank you, thank you. This was a week we'll be talking about for a long while. And if somehow you couldn't make any of our events, the next time you hear about something new going down at E. Zion Fair, make sure you're the first in line to sign up. You won't regret it. After all, we are Wilmington's most exciting church.
And we're back, and I'm really grateful that we are really having a very good, meaningful conversation regarding the school board elections and how it's very important for us to handle our voting privilege, or right, shall I say, that we must stand in. Well, I'm hearing that the old street was trying to come out on yesterday. Tell us a little bit about that. What happened?
Well, here's the fact of the matter. The Department of Community Services is responsible for submitting the application for Community Development Block Grant, which primarily deals with affordable housing, housing for low-income people, housing for the homeless. Applications were $2.4 million. In the application was included $15,000 to go to the police to patrol and provide services the funding would be matched by another federal grant, $15,000 out of $2.4 million. I said, wait a minute. We just voted to put $74 million in the police department. They had a $28 million surplus last year. They've got a surplus this year because they never got to the authorized strength of 400, and they're not going to be at 415 or anywhere near it when we start the new fiscal year. They don't need this money. This $15,000 can be spent on emergency shelters. Well, all you know what broke loose. About $15,000 that wasn't there last year. And the vote ended up being 6-5 because I made a motion to transfer the $15,000 to somewhere else. And there was a robust discussion and debate all the way down to, well, county council can't change the application. It can't change the budget. Well, why do you think it has to be approved by council?
Right.
Okay, we could do any amendment we wanted to. Now, as I said, y'all voted up or down. Okay, and then everybody knows where you are. And it got to the point where even it was said, well, I'm not going to vote to defund the police. I don't care if it's one nickel, but $15,000 for emergency shelter versus police patrols, and they already have a $74 million budget. So that was one skirmish. Then
did that pass?
My motion failed.
Okay. 6-5.
6-5.
Okay.
So that's fine.
Who joined you?
Right. That's also my question. Very good. Thank you.
Councilman Hollins, Councilman Carter, Councilwoman Durham. So that was that. Now, end of the night, the president of county council and the co-chair, they're the two co-chairs of public safety, they came forward with a resolution recognizing whatever week this is in May as National Police Week. Councilman Hollins and I, we voted present. And so under public discussion, the president of the FOP gets on and indicates how upset he is about the fact that two council members wouldn't vote to honor the police. Wait a minute, okay? And you, as president of the FOP, have refused to accept, compromise, work on anything that's going on as it relates to police reform. You know, you're down there purposely and intentionally, and you're the primary leaders coming from the county police department, and not accepting anything but body cameras. So, you know, at this point, whatever happens, happens. But the NAACP has called for an investigation of patterns and practices by the Newcastle County Police Department. And I said, now you've got money here tonight to hire outside counsel to defend it. I'm gonna support you defending it because I want it to be real clear when the investigation is done that the patterns and practices are completely wrong. So now he got back and wanted to come back again, but somehow or another after I said that, he changed his mind. But this is not going away. And I'm gonna continue every chance I get to tell everybody that'll listen that the 9 shots fired in Riverside at Lyman Moses is no different than the 9 minutes in Minnesota. And if they think they're gonna get away with it without me continuing to do what I promised to do in 2004, I said, you want somebody gonna speak up and speak out, I'm your man. And if I haven't done anything else, I've done that and I will continue to do that. And make it crystal clear. I've been a member of the NAACP since I was a child. I'm a life member. So I was a member of the NAACP before I got elected, and I'll be a member of the NAACP so long as I live.
So in other words, a position won't stop your voice. So if they unelect you, you're still going to do what you do.
I'm not going nowhere.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, and that's one thing that we as a people know. Our warriors never get a chance to come off the battlefield. Right. You know, we die fighting for the cause, and at the same time, those of us who have done what we're supposed to do, set the tone and tenure to pass it on and make sure that we have some soldiers coming behind us, and that's where I am now in terms of my career.
Do you think that the police union president would want to come on a show like this to talk about his position, some of the positions that we've noticed that he's taken?
Well, no, I don't know what he would do and don't care. The fact of the matter is, I'm done with you when you say the overwhelming majority of the FOP supported Donald Trump.
Yeah.
Okay. At that point, all bets are off. And you have...
That's a question I'd like to ask.
You have destroyed your credibility with the overwhelming majority of the black community from now on, henceforth, and forevermore.
Well, we're going to put a call out to them. If you're watching, we're going to definitely put a call out to you. We don't. This is what the show is about. It's about not just our opinion. We're going to then open the door for you to be able to express yours. In order for us to get a balanced perspective, we have to hear from you. So we are challenging you now on the TV, but we're going to be calling his office and saying, look, we want you to come on the show. And if you're afraid of, Councilman Street being here, we'll let him be off the show that day, and we'll let you come in, and we'll let Brother Coby and me, the pastor, to question. But I think
and
that's...
I'll just pray for y'all.
Yeah, well, but you'll pray for us, oh Lord. But
After this commercial break, we'll be right back.
Smiles are powerful. A simple smile can light up a whole room. And for 25 years, Smile Train has been lighting up the world with smiles. And each smile marks a step towards a brighter future. As the world's largest cleft lip and palate charity, Smile Train has supported more than 2 million life-changing cleft surgeries in over 90 countries, leaving a legacy of resilience, joy, and beaming smiles for generations of children. To learn more about cleft lips and palates and how Smile Train is supporting the cleft community all over the world, please visit smiletrain.org/learn. Smile Train, lighting up the world with smiles for 25 years.
Welcome back to our 250th episode celebration. Check out these highlights.
Union there.
He was, that's right.
He has the backing of a lot of organizations who care about our students and want to see, someone who's willing to roll up their sleeves and fight for students and fight for educators. He's a good guy, and I think he would make a good school board
When
member.
I was interviewing him, I was so impressed. He said to me, "Listen, Pastor Curry, I don't have all the flair, and I don't have all the." He said, "I'm just who I am. I love children. I've done it. His wife is a school teacher. His son and his daughter are all a part of the educational process, and they understand." And he said, "All I want to do is serve and give back to a community that have given me so much."
And
I think that's important.
I think the school board members don't get paid, and I think that's awful. So anybody that is running is there for the sole purpose of serving, and obviously the person you're talking about now is committed because it's nothing in them but for success for children.
Yeah.
That's why they do it.
Well, some people do it so they can keep a hold over the communities and have some political power. But for those who we've named, they want to serve those children. And in the Red Clay, in the Colonial with Keenan Dorsey, I happen to know him. I worked with him. He came in and turned Moyer around. He knows the dynamics. You can't just say, we're going to do this, we're going to do that. If Keenan gets on that board, all the yak going to be yak out, because he understands the process. He also understands the politics. He's a good candidate, and I embrace him strongly. So I encourage all of you to please remember on May 10th. Is that the right date? Because sometimes I quote
Day
these wrong
after tomorrow.
The day after tomorrow, May 10th, from 7 a.m. to 8 p.m. Don't wait until the end. Get to the schools in those districts. If you live in Colonial, if you live in Red Clay, and vote.
And don't you just go. Take 2 or 3 people with you. Call your friends, call your family. Make sure they go vote. All across the state, it's going to be school board elections.
Don't we have an election in Brandywine?
No, only one person filed.
And do we have an election in Christina?
No, only one person filed.
I just want to make sure everybody knows why we're not talking about the other 2.
Yeah, okay, very good. Thank you very much. So the whole notion of making sure that we keep the integrity of the show there as well. So please make sure that you go out and you vote. Next week, we're going to share with you the results. I hope and trust that our conversation today will help you in your decisions. Before we go on to the commercial, I just want to say something about the statue of James Sills and what occurred with that. So I know as a proud citizen of the city of Wilmington, that must have done your heart well.
it did my heart well. And I worked for him, and Lord knows, you know, the first job I got as executive director, he was the administrative advisor to the program. So he's been a huge part of my career and training me. And I'm not an emotional person, but the only reason I didn't stand there and cry because I didn't want nobody to see me crying, because of the historical nature of it. And to me, when you look at who let us in and out of the DSEG era, Jim Sills, and in the process became the first African American mayor in the city of Wilmington. But his leadership in the DSEG process was extraordinary. And we've got the bridge and the statue up for him, that 8-foot-high statue. Obviously, Mr. Redden was the primary litigator, and we've named the city-county building after him. As Mr. Redden stopped, Judge Williams picked up and was one of the primary litigators, and we have the courthouse named after him. Hicks Anderson was an outstanding advocate, and the person who really worked the streets in the process and trained me. But he took the leadership in seeing to it that there weren't fights, and that any time something began to happen, we were right there to break that up. So we had the Hicks Anderson Center named after him, and the former Wilmington superintendent, and ultimately the first superintendent of the Red Clay School District, Joe Johnson. Highland School is going to be named after him on May the 23rd. So to me, it's fitting that the men who let us in and let us out are being appropriately recognized, and I'm so glad that the 90-year-old mayor was able to be there and get his flowers and smell them while he's still here.
Yeah, and something you said, I'll come right to you, Coby. Something you said that kind of rang, and I begin to think, who we vote for matters. Sam Guy was in city council when they were finishing up that, preparing to rename the building. Justice Center. The Justice Center. And it was he who led the charge against the state to say, no, we can't name this building Bo Biden. It has to be Lenny Williams because we had put it in the charter before time. And he stood up and he fought with some other advocates to make it clear you cannot name that building after Bo Biden. And I thought that was so honorable. But he was in city council at the right time, and he did not shut up. He continued to move forward. They had to do what they needed to do. So that one, I give all credit to knowing that we had the right people in position to be able for the city of Wilmington to follow its agreement. The second thing is when you start talking about the statute.
We've got to give Governor Markell credit because he had the guts.
That's it.
Okay. He had the guts to go on and do what he thought was right. And certainly Sam gives it credit because he's, you know, the legislation that made it difficult for them to name it for somebody else, he put out there.
Yes.
But, you know, we were able to convince Governor Markell to do the right thing as relate in, you know, so certainly Sam gets credit, but you also had to have a governor in place who had the courage to stand up.
I'm going to say this. Yes, Markell did have the courage, but if they would have went another route, it would have been all hell broke loose in the city because that was in the charter. But I want to go a little further. You had an opportunity to see a 90-year-old man who I just had on the Coffee with Curry show receive his flowers while he lived. I want to show the city council members who are African American and Latino that real leadership and real representation is not about you and some person's agenda or being somebody's crony. It's about representing your community. Darius Brown led the way for this statue to happen.
And let's tell the truth. The statue was $300,000. Okay, and the base is probably $200,000, okay? And so those who criticize us and had a problem with us when we supported Darius after he was found not guilty.
Thank you.
Okay, where were y'all at?
Yeah, yeah.
Okay, and the fact that historically, nobody but has been able to deliver that kind of revenue for a statue of a black man?
In Delaware.
Or anywhere else.
Well, that's true, but I want to keep saying in Delaware.
In Delaware.
So I wanted to throw that out there for all of these city council people who getting these fish sandwiches and chicken sandwiches and macaroni and cheese on the side instead of being taught how to fish and to make your own.
But how
this is leadership.
How pathetic is that? That you've got the youngest among us
Yeah.
delivering the most.
Well, I ain't going to get into more fights today. But I want to make sure, and he said it right, we did not support.
I want to get into it. $40 million for a library, $10 million for a community center, an African-American female judge in all 3 counties and the Delaware Supreme Court.
Yeah.
And who has a record like that?
Right. And we did not open
289,000 expungements, 289 people. 289,000 people eligible for expungement.
Yeah, and he's not even a senior senator.
And if I'm him, I'd be sitting here saying, no brag, just fact.
Just facts. And people can criticize me as a pastor, you as a community leader. So why are y'all supporting this person? I supported him because of, number one, I recognize what he has done for our community. But once I said I was going to leave it alone, I even told him privately, I was not going to go, if you did something to somebody, harm someone, we're going to deal with that issue first. Once we allow the unfair judicial system to do what it needed to do, then the verdict came out. And that's why I gave credit to Sokola, because I said, listen, he didn't have to have the guts to change and go back and follow the system.
He had the guts to take him out in the first place. I don't want to hear it.
I know you said it to me last week, but I'm going back to it. I give him credit. But when I saw that and that statue, almost a $5 million statue.
500,000.
I'm sorry, let's get that right. 500,000. That is just remarkable. That's leadership. That's representing your community. And that's what we're looking for.
And recognizing the history.
Yeah.
The history of Jim Sills that he made in 1992, winning that election. And every other major city in the country has recognized the first African-American mayor. And I'm just sorry. I'm glad Jim was there. He spoke very eloquently. He was very appreciative. But I'm so glad that he got to see it.
Yeah, let me just say this, and then we're going to go to a break and get ready for the Coby Corner. Let me say this to you. The first black president of the United States was Barack Obama. And
Barack Hussein Obama.
Okay. And he created the KKK, the racist folks, the worst became apparent because we made it. It's like, who let the dogs out? Who allowed black folks to be able to be in leadership? Then I looked at when even Sills became mayor. The first. I wasn't here. But this is what led to the other folks putting a Jim Baker in there. Now I ain't going to go too far because I don't want y'all to get mad at me. But look at the people. Look at the people who still running the government, whether they be chiefs of staffs or whatever else, to make sure Jim Sills got put out. He was representing his community. I pay attention to the trajectory. I don't just look at what's happening. Everything is providential.
But Mayor Purzycki pointed out the fact that Jim Sills was a part of working with him to establish everything that has transpired on the riverfront, okay? And so you had one mayor saying to the other, thank you for helping the city in terms of economic development when everybody else threw hot water on it.
Yeah, well, That's how it rolls. That's how it rolls. Because, but look at how it turned out. One term mayor. 2. No. What's his name?
I think Baker ran.
Baker ran and beat him.
No. Jim Sills did 2 terms.
He did?
He was elected in 92 and he was elected again in 96. Okay. Baker said he wasn't going to let him have a 3rd term. And
is that what it was?
That's when he went after.
Oh, you just helped me out. Now somebody's saying, I got you, Pastor. No, I need to make sure. That's why we need your wisdom.
Here.
We need your wisdom.
You weren't here before my time. You didn't work for him.
Okay. Well then I thought he only served 4 years.
No, he served 2. He served 8 years with distinction.
Okay, very good. Very good. So I'm grateful that they were able to give him his flowers where he lived, and I hope and trust that we will continue to do that. But I'm asking the city council.
One of them said, Jim, you're going to make 100, and I think he will.
Well, he's a Morehouse man. You know, that's how they work. You know, he may be a Kappa, but he's a Morehouse man. And that's the only thing that's going against him is he's a Kappa. You know, other than that, he'll be all right.
I said that once. I didn't say it this time. Made a whole lot of people mad. I didn't say it. He said it.
Let's just run over to the Coby Corner at this point. Brother Coby, what you got for us this week?
Yeah, so first off, I want to say that the governor has formally extended the public health emergency for another 30 days. This will mean that the governor is allowing the state of Delaware medical providers to continue COVID-19 testing and vaccine programs, and it enables the flexibility of staffing in hospitals and long care term facilities, and maintains the eligibility for low-income Delawareans to continue to receive enhanced federal assistance, especially food benefits as well too. So I'm glad to see him take that step.
Yes.
As we're still trying to fight back against this. But that's what I think everyone has heard about, that there was a leak of Justice Attilo, his brief on overturning Roe versus Wade, and that they took a preliminary vote, and it was 6-3. And what's going on right now, and there's still some room, there may be another dissent to make it 5-4. But what is going on right now, you see mass protests spark up. But last night, the other night...
You started one of them.
Yes, I did help organize one of them. But last night, the other night, there was a host who suggested that the leak was actually Ketanji Jackson Brown, which completely undermines her integrity. Well, first off, I don't think it was. I think it was a law clerk. And to be honest, I think it was a conservative law clerk to try to lock in all the judges to make sure none of them flip on this decision. Because what happens when a decision is actually made, they take a preliminary vote, you have the opinion comes out, and then you have the dissenting opinions. And in those dissenting opinions, they take about 2-3 months to get it done. Well, now this is going to undermine the court if any of them flip, because now they're going to be able to say, oh, they only flipped because it was public protests. Well, here's the thing. I think, like I'm going to keep saying it, I think it was a conservative law clerk who leaked it. But everyone has called for an FBI investigation into this. But I know y'all two probably have some comments on this.
G, you got any comments?
Well, no, because my comments go back to the genesis of all these organizations who have been a part of this whole non-abortion idea, and the genesis of them, of the organizations, are the aftermath of the May 17, 1954 Brown versus Board of Education decision, and they grew up with people who just refused to want their children to go to school with black children, and white supremacist organizations grew out of that, and then they took in the 70s and took up this issue. And you know, so I look at those who are proponents of that, going back to the genesis of the organizations that in fact were white supremacist organizations originally, and to me that speaks for itself.
Yeah, I don't believe that you tell people how to live their lives. The Bible says, if I can just be very honest, that this is a whosoever will way. People have a right to do whatever they want to do as it relates to the Lord's kingdom but he has his own standards. So if by some chance, my issue is not so much the Roe v. Well, it is the Roe v. Wade, but my issue is more in what Street is saying. And what he is saying is the white supremacy folks, this is going to lead to a whole lot more.
Correct.
This is going to lead to a whole lot more.
Because the initial problem they had was Brown versus Board.
And that's what we are missing. But for those individuals of saying outlawing it, I don't personally believe in abortion. I don't. And I'm not trying to appease the liberals or the conservatives. I am a Christian. My Christian beliefs does not permit me to believe in that. However, I also do not tell people what to do with their bodies. To make something out, if that's the case, if those of you who are Christians, well, if you're saying we should outlaw abortion or whatever else, then we should also outlaw these liquor stores. We should also outlaw drugs that are legal now, like marijuana. So it's
Not yet, not in Delaware.
Not yet, but it's coming. Trust me when I tell you. It's coming.
I'm going to keep running.
And the point I'm saying to you is while I will not support abortion, I am not going to get into the discussion of what should be legal and not legal, because most of what's in this country is illegal as it relates to the kingdom of God.
And here's the thing. I believe that anyone should have a choice to do whatever they want with their body, right?
That's where I am.
And here, it's funny because, for the last 2 years, we've heard some of these same men who are supporting this say that it's their body, their choice. They shouldn't have to wear a mask. You saw at a higher level who died from COVID. Yeah. If they choose to put their body on the line in that way, let them.
Yeah.
But now, because it's a woman, you will never have a child as a man. So you don't know what a woman has to go through for that.
And here's another fundamental problem. Fundamental problem. You say you do not have a right to have an abortion, but your same voice, especially the Republican Party, will not give those same children appropriate health care.
Nope.
You want them to come here. I was going to go all the way up.
Education.
I was going to go all the way
up.
You
got all this concern before they're born and don't give a damn about them after they're born.
And that's the problem. We'll be right back.
I'm Naheem Hines, professional football player and proud supporter of the Muscular Dystrophy Association. My mom was diagnosed with muscular dystrophy when I was 14, and I watched her struggle. But MDA helped her get the best treatments and care, and they also help kids like my buddy Ethan.
My name is Ethan. Thanks to the Muscular Dystrophy Association and people like you, I have more hope than ever before. From day one, they've treated me like family at my local care center. MDA is the only one that funds over 150 care centers across the U.S. to help provide state-of-the-art care for adults and kids like me.
MDA has been transforming the lives of people living with muscular dystrophy, ALS, and other related neuromuscular diseases. They fund the research for breakthrough treatments, care, and cures. And MDA provides support to thousands of families like mine and Ethan's in communities like yours. Thanks to MDA, kids and adults can live life to its fullest. Join us and learn more at mda.org today.
Here are praiseworthy choirs every Sunday, including the Israel Men's Praise Team.
I feel it inside of me, telling me to go ahead.
The E Zion Men's Choir.
We will win, we will fight, we will win.
The Rockin' with Jesus Youth Choir.
Open your mouth, say so. Open your mouth. Open your mouth, say so. Second time. Open your mouth, say so.
The Shabbat Praise Team.
You can have it. Reach up and grab it.
The Dodd Choir.
It's sorrow, my hope for tomorrow.
The J.L. Henry Choir. The Jones Family Praise Team.
God is my everything. Come on, y'all, put your hands together. Hey, one more time, God.
And the Judah Youth Praise Team.
Keep on smiling.
Inquire about joining the music ministry by calling the church at 302-652-9114.
Welcome back to our 250th episode celebration. Check out these highlights.
Anything else you have on your plate today?
Yeah, so one, I know we talked about it a little bit. The filing deadline has passed, and I just want to let everyone know, yes, I am running for Wilmington City Council 1st District. I'm super excited. This is the community in which I was born and raised in. It's the community that helped raise me. It's the community that I give back to constantly. I sit on the board of the POW Center, which is in the heart of the district, working with hundreds of families throughout the district. I'm running on a platform of increasing our affordable housing stock, addressing our crisis that we're currently having, looking at quality of life issues, making sure that we're able to help every resident age in place in their homes, making sure that we're expanding senior programming, expanding youth programming in the district as well too, looking at how we can make the community safer for everyone across the board. Which means also making sure the city as a whole is safe, right? Creating a youth engagement plan to really make sure that we're helping them from their cradle to their careers, right? We may not control what happens in the school, but when they're out in the community for those other 16 hours of the day, whether they're in their house or at their community center or at the park, we have some say there. And then again, lastly, just making sure that we have sustainable development and economic growth in the city, making sure that we're bringing well-paying jobs here, that are hiring local people. And when developers are getting public dollars or taxpayer dollars, that we're holding them accountable to hire people locally in the state of Delaware. I'm so tired of seeing different developers hiring these companies, and the plates on their trucks are from Ohio, from Pennsylvania, from Maryland, from Jersey, from all over. No, I want to see Delaware Pace. I want to see Wilmington people put to work. I want to see that money put into their pockets. Why? Because that keeps our economy going. Unfortunately, in our community, the Black community, the dollar does not last long. So if we're hiring more Black people, that means more Black dollars are going right back into our economy, keeping our small businesses open, helping our community. And again, it's just having a community-centered policy, and that's what I'm all about. So again, if you do live in the 1st Councilmatic District, I ask you for your support. I know I've talked to hundreds of people already. I've talked to a lot of people who are like, oh yeah, I watch you on The Source. So again, I just want to say thank you so much to all of you who I have talked to so far. I am personally knocking doors myself. I don't need a state rep who's a family member to come out and knock doors for me. I'm knocking doors. I'm talking to residents. And I'm super excited for this election.
The very first show we had, when I was pulling it together, I called J Street, and I said to J Street, I would like to have one more person, including himself, one more person who could really speak to the heart of the community. Somebody who's a fighter, who's out there fighting to make sure that the voiceless people are heard. And immediately, without thought, he said your name. He said, Pastor, I'll get you the phone number. Call Coby, because he's out there. We're getting older. He's doing all he can to support the community. Coby, you have been a strong, strong supporter of this show, of this community. The police went after you the last time because you are a threat to them. Speaking truth to power causes a lot of things to happen. But, I don't want to get in the way of your campaign, but financially, I'm supporting you.
Thank you.
I'm endorsing you from the moment you said you were going to run. And anything you need me to do, I'm prepared to do it.
Thank you.
I'm not going to get in front of you because you know what you need to do to win the 1st district. Right now, the city needs a voice, not a voice of unreason, but a voice of reason. And I think that even on this show, for those of you who watch us every week, you see that, yes, he will go hard at certain issues, but he knows how to step back and assess the circumstance and the situation and come back with a solution or be able to address the concerns. I am very grateful that you have decided, and I was praying on that you would decide to.
Thank you for tuning in to our 250th episode celebration. Until the next time we're together, keep your eyes open, your ears to the ground. Don't forget to hear it from the source.
You've been watching The Source with host Dr. C.T. Curry and co-host Coby Owens. Tune in every Sunday at 5 p.m. Thanks for watching, and don't forget to subscribe for the latest episodes.